Hey, friends and family. Um, Howdy do. I always enjoy looking at myself in the camera. It's funny. Um, I wanted to create this video in some way because I feel that there, of course, as myself, there's people struggling with many things, many labels, many things that are happening inside them. They're not really sure and don't understand why. And so they go to a doctor, they go to try to find out what's going on inside them. And let's say you find out what's wrong with you and you immediately get help. But my thing that I struggle with is just this concept. And by no means am I struggle. I want to express that when I say I struggle with it, I struggle with the permanence of it, because ultimately through just the understanding of things, that everything is kind of flowing and moving, and everything's kind of impermanent, and such is my life. So I feel that when we get caught up in labels that's a doctor gives us, or we don't question the label, or we don't question the fact that life is always moving, and we once we kind of take an observational look at our life the best that we can, depending on where we are. I mean, that can always be sometimes a hard spot to be in, which I fully recognize and whatnot. But nonetheless, still something that needs to happen, whether that produces pain and suffering for a time being. I believe in some way that eventually it will, of course, subside, just like I was saying, that life is always moving and flowing. And that ultimately who you are is not the things that are labeled as you. Um, of course, this is kind of unconventional of a thought, perhaps, right? I witness a lot of people say that they have something. In fact, the matter may be that they actually do in that moment, and they may have that for a while. But ultimately, I think if in some way maybe you can agree, or maybe it's just my personal thing, but it's not actually you. So, for example, like depression, you're not like you're not the depression. Depression is you're experiencing the depression. Anxiety, you're not anxiety. You don't have anxiety like it's like something like I pick up like my mug and I walk around with it and say like this is mine, like this is what I have. I have this cup. Um, I mean, unless you really want it that bad and you hold it, and don't get me wrong, like identities are powerful, right? So like, if I really feel like I can't let this cup down, like I'm like I gotta keep this thing because this is who I am. I'm the guy with the cup, and if I put it down and I let it go, then I don't know if I can do that, and that's the struggle, and that's the pain. This right here, this whole like, this is me. Okay, I know who I am, although it doesn't look like that, and then I have to let it go. But mine says no, no, this is who I am, and that's kind of how it goes. Um, and I get it; it's a struggle and a half, but ultimately, it's not you. Just know that. Um, so for anyone struggling with anything that they have, even be it cancer, I don't have never had cancer. I cannot speak from the concept of I've had it and that is who I am, or something like this, or taking on that story quite strongly. I just you know I can't help but think that in some way that it's very similar to somebody being diagnosed with something else. Um, by no means am I trying to express the pain that somebody that has cancer is going through, and some of the effects that that has, because most people relate cancer to death. But ultimately, uh, just know that what you've been diagnosed with, um, in my opinion, in my experience of life so far, for what it's worth, is just know that you're not that. and that you can overcome it in a way where it flows into something else in your life. But for as long as you hold on to it and you consider it you, like that cup and that you just can't let go of the attachment of I am this, I have this. I'm not, there's no discounting what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, but there might be a sense of potential relief at some point in time during your journey where you say, you know what, maybe something's here. Maybe, like, what would it be like if I just let go of that? What would happen? Just for a moment, even just to start playing with that seed and see where it goes. And then maybe play with that seed for a couple days and see where it goes. I'm not saying, I don't know what I'm saying in a way, but I know that it's not going to hurt you. I don't believe it's negative in a way. I don't feel and believe that looking in that way is delusional, because in some way we're probably just delusional anyways. So I'm not advocating delusion to delusion, but in some way you can, and that's the power of the mind, right? I can believe something good about myself, I can believe something bad about myself. Ultimately, it's just, my own perception of in the mind. It's not reality. So, anyways, random video in a way, but if it can help anyone, cool. I enjoy. Cheers.